This is April 24th. We're gonna go ahead and call our April regular meeting to order. Thank you. We have all the directors here. So let's go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join us in 30 seconds of silence. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We have a pretty reasonable agenda tonight. I think we'll be able to get out at a good time, barring no craziness. So, do we have any citizens communication? Let's see. Do you have anything? Okay, did you fill out a form? Oh, wonderful. If you don't mind passing it this way. And then if you don't mind standing at the podium, that way the owl can capture you and people online can hear you. So this is Charlotte Bull.
Thank you, John Travolta. Directors, my board neighbors, my name is Caroline Burton. I am a resident of this neighborhood. I live on Black Cattle Drive. I beg your indulgence of my appearance. I've just come from the animal shelter. As a general note, Williamson County Regional is really struggling. They could use some pet food, they could use some volunteers, and we are way over capacity, so if you're looking for an ex-best friend, now's the time. I understand that the agenda items that I came here to address have been moved to the next meeting. I apologize. I came here to share some of my experiences dealing with the AT&T construction in the neighborhood. As a resident of Black Kettle, it has been ongoing in my area for approximately 2 months now. And it has been a struggle for the residents. We are stay-at-home moms, we are government policy editors, we are computer programmers, and we are music teachers. And we have been subject to a level of disruption, noise, and general activity and disruption on our properties that has prevented our reasonable use and enjoyment and has impacted our daily lives, has interfered with our landscaping, our sprinkler systems, our yards, our compliance with our restrictive covenants. And while AT&T is attempting to address some of these issues, which I do not think stem from malice, I am not here to incite vindictiveness against this company, merely to beg that they behave with consideration to the residents who could be the customers of the utility that they are currently installing, who are witnessing the level of customer service that will be provided by the service provider and making judgments accordingly. It has been my own experience. I have a backyard easement. They were willing to work with me when I asked for notice to access my property. My personal mission is to take care of difficult dogs, so that means uninvited guests just coming into my backyard are somewhat of a serious inconvenience. They were willing to work with me. I want to go ahead and extend some thanks to them for that. However, the carelessness they displayed while on my property is the reason that I'm coming to you today. They have worked to address some of the sprinkler system issues. They cut through my sprinkler system despite marking it with blue spray paint. So that was a frustration. I had conversations with the site super and with the workers that came that day to access my property. I explained the landscaping, I explained the location of my systems. Despite that, the system was still cut through despite marking. Additionally, through, I believe, not malice but carelessness, landscaping rocks were removed. That's because they were turfing through that limestone soil we're all familiar with. They removed these landscaping rocks and took rocks from the cairn of my dog's grave to replace the rocks they took from my property. This caused a level of emotional distress. Without boring you with the details, I am a former human companion of a canine who protected soldiers in Baghdad, and When we lost her to cancer, she received a place under our shade tree. This marker did not exist within the easement. However, it was close to it, which is why I believe the removal of the Karen marks was carelessness and not actual malice. But again, I urge this company to communicate better with your potential customers and these property owners who are hosting you as guests. Thank you.
Thank you, very, very well stated and shared with us, and I am sorry that's your experience. I'm gonna direct the GM to work with our contact there, and she will get back to you on that, but everything you said is valid, so thank you for sharing that with us, and I'm sorry.
We're not nearly done with all the AT&T stuff. I wouldn't mind maybe getting something in there addressing, let them know sensitive things before, who to contact, stuff like that. But I'd love to get something into the newsletter, preparing residents so that they can better defend against.
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda for next month, and the GM's been directed to work on it in between, okay? Thank you.
And
Thank
they
you for
are
coming.
providing reimbursement, for the sprinkler system and things like that, if you haven't already been reached out to.
I'm in contact with Mr. Alvarado. I have his contact information, and I will be submitting extensive documentation with photographs, with the appropriate metadata, as well as receipts.
And you were here last month when he spoke, correct? Yeah, okay, all right, thank
Can we
you.
also grab, maybe, can we blast out perhaps the volunteers needed at the animal shelter?
Yeah, absolutely, I love that
If
you
you
share
could-
that, my daughter's a volunteer there as well, she does the kitty cats, but, and I do wanna share with you, we did Cocoa Christmas where we do the mud event, and one of the things was, people could bring, instead of canned foods, they could bring in blankets, and we had a lot of people donate blankets, so we had a really nice donation, so
That's awesome.
thank you for your help there, that's awesome. Okay, any more citizen communication? Then let's move forward, consent items, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 27th, the regular meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Report from BHCOA, Sandy's not here, so we'll go ahead and skip that. As she comes in, we can go back to that. Deputy Lovato.
Hello, I forgot that there was a meeting tonight and I grabbed the wrong notebook, but I think I can remember everything. I know on 2 occasions, some trash had been dumped at Blockhouse Road. Our deputies picked it up, moved it off to the side of the road, and they called Road and Bridge to come and pick it up. Right after the town hall, there was a whole bunch of vehicle burglaries. So I just want to reiterate to the people that are watching, please lock your doors to your vehicles, please make sure your garages are closed. Because that was the main thing I talked about, and then literally 2 days later it happened. There was one other thing. I will not be able to make the security meeting on Friday. We have a special event that I have to work.
Okay, I'll let the GM reschedule that.
Okay.
If that's cool, whatever works out for you. I do wanna thank you, the safety day, you did a fantastic job.
Thank
The kids that were there loved seeing the vehicle and the dogs, Cynthia loved seeing the dog. And Mark, thank you for being there with your PowerPoint presentation. The safety day was an amazing event, there was a lot of good information shared. It was unfortunate the residents didn't take advantage of it. And I encourage residents to watch it, it is saved, it's online. And I wanna thank you and your deputies for being there.
Of course, no problem at all.
Thank
So
you.
my kids weren't able to get, and they were kind of sad, so.
Yeah.
May I ask a question real quick? So on the burglaries, do y'all have any idea, because I know there was a car stolen?
I don't have any of that information. Like I said, we've been working towards this conference. I haven't been able to talk to any of the deputies
Okay.
about if they have any leads or anything like that.
I do know a resident that I happen to know, her and her husband caught them out there and got a description of the vehicle and a description of the individual. So if you
Okay,
don't have that information, I'll make sure that we get it to you.
Okay.
Because they describe the car and what they're wearing and everything.
awesome.
Actually, your deputies do know because they blocked a couple of the entrances
Yeah.
and we're watching them come and go. So,
Okay,
you know, I mean, it's unfortunate it happens, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you talked about.
And apparently, they're coming out from Cedar Park and all the way up here, so it's some gang group.
Yeah, or Austin, they come from all
yeah, they
over.
come from all over.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll just pick a random town and hit the neighborhoods in there. then they'll be gone for several months, and then a different group will come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a blast would be good on the communication side, is about reminding everybody to lock your cards, and don't leave your keys in or valuables, because they do like to come in and look for those things.
Yeah, we've done a couple blasts, been a couple newsletters, you did it on the video, you can only communicate so much to
I know,
residents,
yeah,
and
it's true.
so, okay, thank you very much. I don't think the subcommittee has anything, do we?
No.
Okay, but again, thank you for participating that day, I know that's time away from your family, and I really appreciate you being out there. Okay, we're gonna go back to the OA, Sandy, do you have anything to report?
Actually, no.
Oh, okay, no, alright, that's okay, that's good.
That's kind of report.
I've not been given that option before.
The e-sign you guys are working on, right? Okay, we won't talk about that. Okay, we're gonna go on to amenities. Premier, Mark.
Thank you, in a similar situation, I didn't forget about the meeting, but I printed the report and, put some stuff before, and the report didn't print. But, last month was a very smooth month, a lot of construction here, a lot of dust getting in the pool from construction elsewhere, stuff like that. So we have been cleaning the pool when it's full enough to clean and getting ready, we're opening Tomlinson this weekend. So we are ready and excited for that, it may be a little chilly, so I don't know how long people will stay, but, we'll be here, we've got guards ready to go. We're about 90% staffed right now, and still training and hiring staff. We did it in 3 weeks last year, so I'm very confident we'll be more than fully staffed before summer officially hits. But we're definitely ready, I will have both pools open noon to 5 over the weekends. Helping out the swim team, we've got 3 guards there every night, all the swim team's there, and taking care of that, and just looking forward to the summer.
Wonderful. So Amanda's not gonna be here, the president of Tidal Waves,
Right.
but I had her send me a little note, and she said that I think they've had their 3rd day now, maybe?
Yes, today's
of-
third day.
And her thing said is, everything's going smoothly, and you guys are an absolute pleasure to work with. So that was the feedback, so thank you.
Absolutely. If there's
Okay,
anything we can do, let us know. I know we're working with the OA on a couple movie nights, so we're excited about that, and,
okay,
And the money.
yes, and fun.
yeah, it's
We're ready for those, and
Okay.
excited to be presenting those for you.
great, thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, gonna move on. Okay, so we do need to talk about considerations for lifeguards for master swim class. We talked about that last month, we do need to have lifeguards there. And so are you able, Mark, to cover that?
What are the time on that?
6, 8, do you know?
Yes, if I'm not much mistaken, it's 5 to 5:50. I know that's not a popular time,
Ooh.
and it's for 4 days a week for 5 weeks, so 20 days.
Okay,
Is
I
there-
should be able to get coverage for that, more than likely,
It's not, I'm sorry, days,
The end of May it starts,
it's, right, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's the last week of May.
Yeah.
And all of June,
okay,
so you've got time.
okay,
It's not like tomorrow.
right.
or anything.
so if I could direct you to work with Amanda, because Tidal Waves are running it, and then with the GM, just to ensure that we have coverage there,
Not-
because I am swimming it.
We need to know how many, he needs to know how many lifeguards,
It's probably just 2 lifeguards.
Yeah.
As long as they're swimmers, it should, there's less than 25 or 30. we're-
Yeah, it
we're
is,
good.
I think it is less than that.
That time is not the most popular time to get up and go swimming. so
Exactly.
I know, I thought it was 6,
Overcrowded.
so when David said 5, I'm like, oh man. Sorry, okay, thank you.
No.
Report from Directors from Priority Landscapes, Tripp.
Hello, everyone. So, just to start things off, this is Clint, I know some of you guys met in the subcommittee, and he started with us almost a month ago. He's experienced, been in the business for a long time, and just helping me out here right now, and just trying to make sure we're staying on top of things. I've been pretty busy, and so it's been good to help. He's been a communication a lot with Lisa, and
Good,
so.
Welcome.
yeah, welcome, thank you.
Glad
And
to meet you.
I don't see that we have any proposals,
We
so,
don't have any proposals, everything's
Okay.
going well out here.
good,
We're gonna do a little extra fertilization where we had some freeze damage on St. Augustine, but really
Okay.
everything's pretty
thank
good.
you.
Got some rain.
Yeah, we got some rain,
Some.
yes.
More
Just a
more
little
to
bit,
come.
half of an inch is all we got, but we'll take it.
Okay, report from the amenities subcommittee, it's in your packet, if anybody has any questions, let us know.
I do have one item.
Sure.
So we did actually have TML come out today. They did a full inspection from their adjuster on the freeze and the repairs that took place. We did have all contractors out from Pro Aquatics, TNT, Stars and Stripes, as well as 1836. We have actually submitted even all of the copper replacement, given that it has been the reason for a lot of the freeze issues in the past. And so per the adjuster, we do believe that all of that will be taken care of. We're working diligently to make sure that we get, obviously, the pool ready for the pool season that will start on Saturday. We do have the pumps in, and they'll be working here tomorrow to get those pumps installed. Some of the items that you guys have approved in the last couple of months, which were gonna be the electrical that was actually done out there. I wanted to update you guys that on the findings that we had, we will see a couple of change orders due to the fact that all of the electrical out there at the pump house was actually in reverse. All of your cold was hot and all of your hot was cold, which is absolutely just something that you don't do at all. Obviously, the sizing of your pumps is absolutely wrong, so we're getting all of that done. We've added the correct ampage now, so we're able to get that up to par, and we have all the fountains and everything running for everybody, so we should be up to.
I'd like to add to that really quick, if we could. Community garden, couple items. We've had some incursions into there. I've mentioned that the fence around the entire Vermont building looks like you're in a visitor center for a prison. And at some point, I'd like that taken down. In the meantime, I've asked them to stake out the garden area where they would like to have the barrier, and then they put up like a gardening fence that keeps the deer out and such. So it's been staked out. If anybody wants to go take a look at it, and I want you guys to have an opinion about where it would go before we debate if we're gonna do it or not. So that is staked out there. Another item, I understand that we do have some agricultural animals out here in people's backyard, hens. Some people, it's not a big deal, but maybe there are some residents that it is. What I would like to do is consider maybe getting those people together in a section of the community garden where they can take care of their hens and their eggs and their chickens and stuff like that. I'm concerned about the legalities of it, you know, the water runoff and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if we can ask Sean to figure out what kind of hurdles we have before we debated whether or not we can allow a chicken coop in the garden area of the park there.
I think we need to get Will on that too.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is it restrictive? I don't know, do restrictive covenants apply to non-residential spaces?
I don't think the restrictive covenants apply to the park.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that last month.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and direct Sean to look into that a little bit, and we'll put that on the agenda for next month to discuss a little more in detail. Do you want to share, Robert, Monica said she acquired $1,000 worth of equipment.
Oh, yeah, I think that at this point, they're doing an amazing amount of work. We're still communicating through that. They're all still within, in fact, I just wish anybody and everybody would go check out what they've done to that so far. The goal there is to have the gardeners of the garden area to take ownership of that so that we are no longer spending maintenance money on it and stuff like that. And I think it will, sorry Trip, but it's gonna look much better than what Trip would leave it looking like by the time they put up all the flowers and everything like that. So there's a lot of effort going on back there. They do want volunteers, but I mean, I just remember walking into the shed yesterday and it was like a wonderful, beautiful shed as opposed to the first time I went in there. It was just a mess of cobweb and stuff in disrepair, but.
So Monica went out on Facebook and somebody was moving and she was able to acquire basically $1,000 worth of like lawnmowers, edgers, weed eaters, all kinds of stuff that's now donated to the community garden, which is really amazing. And I was out there today. I have a bed myself and we have a community herb garden that I'm kind of taking care of. And I think we have 32 beds, and like 99% of them are completely redone. They have something growing in them and it's beautiful. So like Robert said, I would encourage anybody to go out there. There's like one garden that's gonna be all moonflowers, it's gonna be all white stuff. one's all edible flowers, one's all herbs, there's gonna be tons of okra. I mean, this, in a month, it's gonna look amazing. It's really transitioned, and I wanna thank Monica and Mark and Robert, for all the work they've done, cause it's just really turned around. It's really fun.
Another part of this is previously, if somebody wanted a bed, they would make an appointment with Lisa. Lisa would go out there, she'd be 10 minutes early, they'd be 10 minutes late. 2 hours later, we were collecting $20 in annual fees, whereas now Monica and Mark and the gardening group manage that. And it's just a quick email, and hopefully that will save some more of
Yeah.
GM's time. And hopefully that's been working for you, Lisa? Excellent.
Yeah, okay, good deal. Security, one thing I did have a question on, the, agenda item number 8 is amenities and security. Were you guys able to issue the, no trespassing for the twins?
We have not been able to do that yet.
Oh, are they?
I will make sure and get on it.
Yeah, because they're still
Yeah,
they're still in jail. So, in our security meeting, I had mentioned to Deputy Lovato, the 2 individuals that were residents that broke into the Walker House. They are in jail, since February.
Allegedly broke into it, they haven't been convicted of this yet?
Yeah, but they've been in there since March or February and early March, but, I wanna make sure that they get a no trespassing, so they cannot go into any of our parks. They do have family that lives here, and just whatever we can do. Also, when they do go to court in front of the judge, I wanna make sure that we say that we want to, make sure that we hold them to the highest degree.
Restitution.
Yeah. Same thing with the graffiti, just give us an update when you can on that thing, okay? Thank you. PR communications, report from the subcommittee.
That is in your packet. If you have any questions for us, I'm happy to answer. The newsletter for May will be coming out at the beginning of May. We will include the survey information, which we'll be discussing here shortly. And we are currently working on the June newsletter. And as always, we're excited to have anybody provide to us any article information you'd like to add for the future. Okay.
I'd like to add to that really quick. There's, anytime 2 directors don't agree on things, I think it's best to just bring it up to the full board and then pick a direction. One of the articles I felt was reiterating the restrictive covenants information, which the OA does in CAM. One of us wants to put restrictive covenants guidelines and hip hooray, let's get the neighborhood cleaned up. And I would prefer to keep it with, garden area stuff, resident profiles, different things, more positive sports teams, disc golf events, and what's been going on. So, what are the thoughts from the rest of the board on including?
Yeah, so I'd like to, that's a good question. I wanna go around, and I'll start if you guys don't mind. We just had an article last month on deed restrictions.
We're talking about the trash cans?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about?
But we also talked about keep it clean, do this, do that, because actually residents were pretty pissed off about it. But there was an article, wasn't it last month or the month before? So we just did that. Okay, Director Shoemaker?
Well, wait, Derek, weren't we working on something talking about?
That's what I,
So that will be for the June newsletter. We'll add a restricted covenants article that you all have written. In the April newsletter, we did have restricted covenants information
Right.
regarding the trash cans.
So I
And then we're
guess
also
what's
adding-
the additional, I'm confused, like what's the additional
Well, I
thing
don't
being
want
added?
to, do you want, if it's okay? I was-
Yeah, you're up.
Sorry, I'm just
So,
lost.
all I was trying to do was do something we've done in the past, and that is encourage people to take pride in their yards. Because if we don't maintain the values, folks, the tax value is going to deteriorate and go down. So it's just mainly encouragement is all it was, and it's an article just to ask people to take some pride in Blockhouse, and it wasn't anything to do with just the restrictions, it had to do with the positive encouragement to have people take some pride in their homes and, because I'm seeing it deteriorate quite a bit, and as I drive around and look at things, and I'm going, I know that restrictive covenants can only do so much, but if we can encourage people to take the ownership and pride in their neighborhood, then maybe we could see something turn around. It doesn't mean you can control it all.
Right.
Sure.
Okay, Director
That
Johnson?
makes a little more, I was really confused on what was going on, I was like, so you had
maybe-
one and then one, and I was like, where's the third?
so because restrictive covenants fall to us, we wrote, or are writing,
Yeah.
an article for June that Lisa was just mentioning that does that, I think, unless I'm misunderstanding what we're all talking about. It talks about, it just reiterates briefly the trash cans issue. because that has been a problem. It talks about, now's the time to do improvements around the house because it's gonna get really hot. Please work proactively with the ACC so that you don't have problems down the road. And there's 2 other sections that I'm not remembering.
Yeah, I was Director Johnson's list, but they said, that's why I was really confused, like, we're trying to work on something, so I wasn't aware of there being another thing.
Yeah, so let's leave it with the, that subcommittee, but we did just do something, so, I mean,
Right.
it doesn't hurt to over-communicate, like we've all said many times.
And some of you were pushing, we were going like this time, it's like, you're like, this is kind of, you wanna, we don't want to be encouraging people to go out in the peak of summer, right, when there's no rain, so we go on, lawn stuff's gonna die, or people are heat exhausted working, right? So we're gonna encourage people to work, like, I'm gonna encourage them while the weather's still mild, and there's still some rain to help get things greened up.
So I know this isn't typical of newsletters, articles, but maybe since there is concern, maybe we could send that out once it's done, just to make sure it strikes the right balance and see what people think, because I definitely agree, we want to keep it positive in the newsletter and not, but I think this hits on some of the issues, and it also gives advice, like, look for trips, tips, and, things like that on your yard.
Yeah, we said that last month.
And actually, we do have that again this week, and it will actually, again, focus on what Director Roberts had mentioned, giving residents, some tips on how to maintain their lawns during this, restriction that they're currently under right now. So again, just kind of giving that an idea for them, so we are
So I guess my
touching
thought
those
is-
topics.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us finish, and we can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, that sounds good.
No, they're going in the same vein, that's fine.
On top of that, we also have if this goes out in the newsletter on the restrictor covenants, that's one thing, but I've been working with Amy a little bit on the website, which is where I think this needs to be maintained permanently, so please, whatever that article is, let's take a look at restrictive covenants and how we can better present this information on the website.
Well, and I would say, I think what we've been working on is less about information people can rely on, like, let's say, this is good information you'll use, but we're not trying to present much in the way of like the rules, right? More of like, hey, if you know you've got stuff, right, you think you've got stuff, right, like, so to your point, because we have kicked around, they said a little bit about, and this, it's not really, well, I'm not trying to get off the agenda too far, we've kicked around some about trying to get more information out, right? I think to your point, like, putting in the permanent location on the website is much better than newsletter, but this is more separate from some of the things we've kind of kicked around about, because you get questions people commonly about people like,
Right.
trash, like, we've been talking about trying to find ways to get that stuff
Noise
up
is
on a
big.
permanent basis,
Yeah.
but it's kind of a separate effort from what David and I have been working on, but, so, I think we're all kind of working on the same things, we just gotta get the proper efforts aligned, I think.
Okay, alright, we'll leave with you guys then. Okay, is everybody good?
So you guys are still sending out letters for violations every time somebody leaves their trash can.
Cam goes around, so like, they're the ones who are responsible, so like, we don't like tell Cam like, hey, go and send a letter to this person, we rely on Cam's.
I'm happy to do a little bit more on the general side, but just,
Yeah,
I don't want those kind of communications to be, we've got 90% of residents that are doing a great job with their yard, 10% of them are, but that newsletter goes out to everybody.
yeah,
Whereas our, and the OA's contractor, they can send out those letters, the no-no letters, right, and.
yeah, this isn't really a focus on like the no's, it's more of like,
I'm
kind
not,
of suggesting like, like, again, like, for folks that are wanting to do stuff like, hey, if you plan to, if you think you need to, right, like,
I'm not sure
don't do it now instead of like July.
yeah, I'm not sure the term restrictive covenants is in it, the article.
Okay,
Yeah, so.
Okay. alright, that's good, I think, you guys do what you need to do, communications, you guys, I think we're good there. Let's move on to, 11 resident surveys, so my understanding is, I read it, good job, guys, I like the changes you made, I think it's clean, it's streamlined. It's gonna go out May 1st, it's gonna be out for residents the entire month of May. I'm gonna encourage all residents to please complete it, fill it out, this is part of transparency, this is part of communication, and we need this input from residents. Young and Johnson, do you have anything to add on this survey?
Only thank you, everybody's comments, all the three, were positively impacting the survey, so thank you.
Okay,
I do
alright,
want
good.
to, and my apologies to the board. It was not the first survey that has ever been sent out, and I know that it's the first sentence, so we
Oh,
sent out,
We can take that out.
yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay.
For this
I don't mind doing
Yeah.
Well, for this board, it's the first one.
Right.
That's probably the
But
first
it's not
one in,
Yeah, it's fine.
About
10
4
years.
years, but
Yeah.
yeah, because we did it.
I did ask for comments to be sent, by the 22nd of April. I did not receive that comment, so if you'll forward those to me in the future, I can get that taken.
No, I will,
Yeah.
I've just been real.
everybody's busy, but that's good, good input, but we haven't had a survey in a long time. Okay, we're gonna move on to restricted covenants. Report from Cam's not here.
Yeah.
Pending contemplation litigation, 2805 Alexander, do we need to go into executive?
No.
Okay,
The only thing, since we are now on restricted covenants, kind of piggybacking on what Director Young was saying, we have been talking about, building, we kind of called it a cheat sheet that would help with the most commonly misunderstood things that were emailed about, or Cam or Will, Armstrong Brown, are contacted about, as a cheat sheet for, Cam and us, but also, we were thinking that eventually that could go on the website as well, just to help people.
Good.
Here is what you definitely should, is definitely a restricted covenants violation, and this thing is never okay.
Mhm.
Versus, people widely understand this to be against the rules and it is not, that kind of thing.
Or this needs to go to ACC.
Or also,
Right,
like, where
that-
the complaint needs to go, like
Yeah.
noise complaints, right? Sometimes people bring them to
Mhm.
Cam, right?
Wilco.
When it's actually more of a Wilco thing, right?
Right,
And people are like, I get it, if it's we understand, you totally feel the pain of the folks, it's a persistent noise issue, right? But it's completely not in our authority to regulate.
or parking on the street, that's a Wilco issue
Right.
thing.
But there are other things you want them to bring to, if they're not bringing it to us, bring it to Cam, right? If people see something like this, or, we've
I think
got,
that's a great idea.
we've got issues where like there's stuff on their property, right? Or it's, there are lots of things where it's complicated, they need our assistance, right?
We're hoping it'll cut down on their frustration by not reaching out to the wrong person, and
Yeah.
also helping, if we clarify what the rules are,
I like that.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
Sandy has a question?
So that was gonna be something.
Can we coordinate on that, because everybody will read it and.
assume it applies everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yes, and that was one of the aspects, because even in the mud-only areas, the rules are not always the same.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah,
working that complication in is, but in an understandable way, is gonna be complex. But yes, absolutely.
One of the things the OA is recently doing is taking a look at their approved paint colors. Apparently, they were previously published under a now out-of-business paint manufacturer, so those are getting updated. I'm wondering if we can get some paint-approved colors that, with modern numbers, so that we can go to Home Depot and Lowe's and not have to worry about.
But the money
You
can't
can't
do
flip.
that.
Well, I guess we can't change the colors, right?
Well, you don't get a selection, like the OA is under different,
Yes,
attachment, because they were mandatory.
but like I know when I redid my roof, there was some broad guidance about the color of shingles I could put.
Mine's not. I have a
Is he-
different section.
So that's the thing,
section
but
one.
I guess the point though is for the areas that have that right, we probably may not hurt to talk to, we can bring it up in our subcommittee to talk with our folks about what we can do, because to Director Roberts' point, like not every section has the rule.
Yeah, I'd love to,
But making sure we're not referencing, to the extent we can, things that are defunct, right, is not helpful, right? Telling people, go get this particular color of paint when that paint code is not accessible.
Or
Doesn't
doesn't
help.
apply to their section.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so one of the
so-
questions I saw recently, on social media is why can't we have a metal roof? Now, I don't know if that applies, maybe Cecilia's section could have a metal roof, and the Walker House does have a metal roof, so that's something I would like for you guys to look into, because it's
Yeah,
pretty silly that we can have one here.
yeah, the original house.
I would like to have a wrought iron fence, but I'm not allowed.
Right,
I'd have to get a variance.
right.
Get a variance, yeah, absolutely, that's fine, okay, good, so anything else on, restricted covenants?
No,
Okay,
not for me.
just always remind residents, they got a
Finance and
question,
audit.
call us.
do we have Tyler on the phone? Do we have Tyler?
Yes, I'm here, yes. Oh, there I am, okay. All right, bookkeeping report's pretty straightforward this month. We have checks 8832 through 8878 to approve. I also sent out that supplemental packet with 8879 through 8881. We had 4 fund transfers, 2 tax transfers, and 2 to the manager's account to pay bills. No new investments. We just have those 3 CDs that we've had. Tax pools interest rates at 5.31, which is where a majority of your funds are. Property tax collections were at 98.1% collected. The only other thing, we're starting to get bond-related invoices that we're paying out of the operating fund. They're going to be reimbursed whenever the bond funds. you'll be able to see that line item on the balance sheet. It's under due from capital projects fund. So when that bond funds, it'll be expensed in the capital projects fund and reimbursed the general operating fund.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve payment of bills, funds, transfers, and investments?
Motion. Second.
Second, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Tyler.
Thank
Number 16 is, we're passing on that. Report from Finance and Audit Subcommittee, Director Jones and I met. Do we have anything on that?
We didn't, right?
The only item that we did actually have on it was a discussion that we had on the back charges that we presented to the board in previous. And that's gonna be from Crossroads. Crossroads last month was corrected several times about the way that he stated that he was back charging AT&T for subcontracted work on damage that was done. We corrected him, made it known that it wasn't in fact a back charge. After Ursula and I actually spoke with Andrew Hunt, this is in fact a back charge to the district. You will be able to look at your accounting statement from Crossroads. We have actually been receiving those charges. Ben has been working with the subcontractors to make sure that he is doing his due diligence as far as making sure that those payments have been made. I believe 2 of the 3 invoices to the subcontractors have been paid. He's working on a 3rd payment now. And so he's actually operations and collections. And so he's doing great on that, but I just wanted to give you guys an update that he was in fact correct. We were not, as far as telling him it wasn't a back charge, it is.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Speaking of bills and invoices, I know we talked about not attending the CASE conference this year, and going more towards AWBD. So if anyone's interested in signing up for that, Lisa has information, so please reach out to her.
Do we actually have a membership to CASE?
I don't think we renewed the.
Not a membership to CASE, you do have a membership to AWBD.
Okay,
So I
Yeah,
thought
I
we
think we just-
were gonna continue the membership of CASE.
I thought that we were gonna individually approve, attendance without the membership, and there's an additional fee or something like that, but, I think it was in the case.
It was my understanding that we would keep the membership.
No, we did not.
Yeah, we did not keep the membership.
I thought we left the money in the budget for
That's what-
attendance,
that's
not,
I don't think it even
not for the membership though.
Yeah.
Not the membership.
So we may still be able to go?
If you wanna go, I'm not encouraging anybody to go, but if you wanna go.
But what, we have to approve it, yeah, like,
Yeah, it'd have to be approved by the board.
yeah.
I think the biggest bang for the buck is to go to AWBD, which is up in Dallas. It's closer, it's cheaper, you're using less money to go, and I think you're gonna get it. Actually, I don't think they've released their agenda yet, have they? Yeah.
AWBD is always slow.
Yeah, so it's a little frustrating. Okay, anyways, I don't wanna get off on that. So let's go ahead and move to 18, report directors from Gray Engineering, David Gray.
Well, I can't believe y'all aren't going to CASE when I might actually be a potential speaker this year. So
You can send us a recording.
I'll try not to take any personal offense. And I was actually asked by Trent to sit in on a panel down there, so we'll see how that happens. But nevertheless, we're gonna talk about MUD, something I'm sure is dear to everybody's heart. I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna say about it, but we're gonna talk about it. The primary thing I have tonight, well, actually 2 things. One, I'm working with Jim Ivan, who is actually CEO of Rangers Construction. He also happens to be also the project manager on the NFM site. Rangers doing all the site work for NFM on that. I spoke with Jim last Friday about concerns that had been brought to our attention regarding dust in the area, and more recently, a concern I got regarding what I call Jake break. And so Jim has been out of town for a couple days. I'm in fact just working on a spot, so I indicated I would get back to him tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tonight and get that in front of him so when he gets back that he can work on it. He said he would, he ended up being out of town for some health issues.
Would you please share what Mark shared, is that even the dust is impacting our pool?
I will, and thank you, I did hear that. Hopefully some of the more recent, more rainfall events have maybe helped a little bit with that. Not to say that that's not a reason or a justification for not looking at it, but hopefully that will help if we get a little bit of that. That is not to defend it, but that is a tremendous amount of area that they have
Oh, it's
cleared
huge.
at one time.
Yeah.
And a lot of rock moving and a lot, just, it's going to be, and I'm not blowing his horn, but it's going to be a challenge. We'll work with all that. And I know Jim, I trust Jim, and I know they'll do the best job.
We realize it's a huge project and it's gonna impact our community, but whatever we can do to
Yes, ma'am.
minimize that impact,
Yes, ma'am.
water trucks and I
Absolutely.
understand the rains right now, but we're gonna have a summer that's probably gonna be dry and a fall
Yeah.
that's gonna be dry.
It's predicted to be dry too.
And so whatever we can do.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Second item is the bond, recreational bond issue. Of course, y'all met on your special meeting, approved the schematics, the park plans. I have those from Trent. I believe tonight, without stealing Sean's thunder, he's gonna present in part a board resolution, which is required for the board, for us to attach to our bond application to TCEQ. Assuming the board takes action on that tonight, then with that and the information I've secured otherwise from Sean's office and from Lauren, your financial advisor, then we'll be ready to complete our preparation of the application package and get it in. A question I had is to whether you would like for me, and it's normal that we would bring a quote draft of the report. I'm not gonna haul in every attachment unless you want me to. I'll be happy to get that 18-wheeler up here and dump it on your table. But the application, to bring it back to the board to look at before filing, I'm happy to do that. If, however, you exhibit a tremendous amount of trust, and you, myself and the other consultants will be happy to wrap this up and get it in, preferably before your next board meeting.
Okay, so I wanna go ahead and jump to 28, which is under legal, the bond application, including the resolution application to the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality for approval of project and bonds. I would like to go ahead and can I motion?
Sure.
I'm gonna motion to approve this and move forward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, do I have any discussion? I'll go around the table. Director Shoemaker?
Only question I have is, this gonna be the handout about the schedule, later agenda items still right, to be discussed? Okay, I thought this was 428, that's the only question I've got. If we're gonna discuss it later, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, we can talk about this as well, now, probably now, given that we're talking about the resolution.
Oh, okay.
Does it go along with the resolution?
That's what I was asking,
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead and cover that.
I mean, so Sean, do you,
Do you want to walk us through here, or, so I had chatted with Lauren, requested that she send over just an updated, so this is really just a guide in terms of what the timing is, and this is all kind of the basic steps that we need to do. With regards to the resolution, David stated it well, this is really just a form resolution at this point. I don't think it's gonna change too much, but, we're finalizing everything. Would request if you guys are open to it, the motion to just approve it as is, subject to any revisions that might need to be made, although I don't anticipate any changes. But this is just required to go over to TCEQ when we submit a bond application. It won't be the only thing that goes over. In fact, it's by far the least substantive thing, but it will accompany David's report, the financial information that Lauren will provide as well. This will give us, to the extent that we are ready to submit it prior to your next meeting, this will give us the ability to do it. Still waiting, I think, on Trent to finalize some things, that David will finalize the bond app, yeah, so, but to the extent, I know there's a desire to move as quick as we can on the bond app, so to the extent we're ready to pop it in mid-May, this will just give us the flexibility to do it.
Can this be shared on the website? Would you be comfortable with that? I think residents would love to see the timeline, so they understand. Do you have an issue with that?
I don't think so, but let me run through it.
Okay.
Just to make sure, because there are a lot of moving parts here. We might be able to make it a little bit easier, because there's various steps in here, and we might be able to.
Streamline a little bit? Okay, Director Roberts, do you have any comments or questions? Awesome. Director Johnson?
If we're gonna post it, maybe just add to the bottom some projected construction dates, because this is all about the bond, and I think that they would care, but not.
Yeah,
They
just say
wanna
something
know,
like then
when
we
can my
can,
kids play in the
yeah.
field?
My point is that residents don't understand that this step is so important before we can even get to the
Absolutely.
next step.
Yeah.
So- Okay, Director Young?
No comments.
Okay, all in favor of number 28?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, David Gray, anything at?
One more thing,
Sure.
ancillary to this, so you'll recall when we started this process years ago, Carol Plum might have been here, I can't remember who it was, but we had anticipated doing a resolution to reimburse. And so I have chatted with Jacqueline Hale, who worked with Carol Palumbo. We have an updated resolution, we'll have that in front of you at the next meeting, and that just
Perfect.
allows you to reimburse the qualified projects that you spent out of operations with the bond funds commission.
Perfect, okay, so let's go back to David Gray, anything else under your,
Briefly, question,
yes,
and now that you've approved the resolution, we have the legal document that we need to make the submission once the documentation of the report is completed in our office. Does the board want to have a subcommittee, you know, I'm always about subcommittees, to look at the report before it goes in, or not? Just a question.
well, Director Shoemaker and I have been working on that, we're happy to review it, I just don't want it to have to, I don't want to delay it another month.
That's why I was thinking of a subcommittee, because I can send it out to you guys, and you can look at it and
Yeah.
check the box. I'm just offering that.
Director Shoemaker, are you willing to do that? Okay,
Okay.
yes, we'll do that, reach out to us.
We will do that.
Reach out to Victor.
Schedule-wise, we would, and I'm not looking at the schedule that you guys are looking at, but generally, our intent is to have that funded by end of this year, which would place us, depending on where you are on your design, working with Truett's office, and what approvals Cedar Park sees fit to put us through, then I would anticipate going to construction in the spring of next year,
If not sooner.
if not sooner. Always have the not sooner option. Very
Okay,
well said.
all right, we voted?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so anything else?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Gray, okay, thank you. Next is 19 Crossroads Utility, Ben.
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Well, Mr. Ernesto couldn't make it tonight, and I informed him of the dates for the next month's board meeting, so hopefully we should have him here at the next meeting for any concerns or complaints. But he did email me today, me and Lisa, kind of his report just quickly over email, so I'm just gonna read what he said. He said the contractors are currently finishing on Spotted Eagle. The contractor has placed approximately 13 to 15,000 feet of conduit out of 30,000 feet of conduit. And this is on the Black Kettle side of the neighborhood. We have completed the Scottsdale side of the neighborhood. All cabling has been spliced. I am currently working with 2 other people to have that area turned on to order for service. I'm looking at the end of the week before service is able to be ordered. If I get the notification earlier, I will let you know. OK Tex has restoration pending for the Scottsdale side. This is what I received from OK Tex. Then he has, we have concrete restoration on Dillon Lake Bend, 1 house that needs sod on Rainy River, 1 house that needs sod on McDowell Bend, and some dirt to be removed. And then he attached a picture of just the highlighted zones of the neighborhood that they're in. So that's all I got from him for this month's board meeting. So any further issues, I think we'd have to take it up at the next month. Next, we have a proposal that's in your packet. This is from FMS Fluid Meter Service at the pump station right here next to the Walker House. On the inside of the pump station, you have 4 clay valves that help regulate pressure throughout the district. 3 out of the 4 are running correctly, and 1 out of the 4 is shot and needs to be replaced. It's an older clay valve, and it's kind of more expensive to repair it. Well, it's cheaper to repair it, but might be in the long run more expensive. And in the quote that I have in the packet, it's $10,000 to repair it, which only comes with a 6-month warranty, or we can replace it brand new for $14,375 and get that up to speed. And that would bring us to have 4 out of 4 clay valves online in the pump station, which is a crucial piece of equipment because it regulates pressure throughout the district.
And what's the warranty on the brand new?
The brand new one, I did not get an answer on that one just because he said there were some issues with some lead time, so he said he would let me know. But on the repair side, he said 6 months.
And what's the general life span of one of these?
This one, they said is about 10 years old, so
So about 10 years likely?
I would safely say yes.
Is this part of what failed the other day?
No, this is completely separate.
Okay, all right, do I have a motion to approve the fluid meter service quote for clay valve pump number 3 for $14,375. Don't know the warranty yet, but please let Lisa know so she can communicate that. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
So are we debating the repair or the new?
I just asked for a motion for the new, the $14,375. So I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, Director Young.
I think $4,000 is likely to give us an additional 9.5 years, as opposed to $10,000 will, just get us another broken one in 10 months.
Director Johnson.
No comments at this time.
Director Roberts.
I concur with the new.
Same.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Ben?
And then next would be our water loss. As you can see, it's a little bit higher this month at 19.8%. And I believe the loss is so high this month is because of the line that was, this main service water line that was hit on 1201 Dillon Lake Bend, which was by the OK Tex company back in late February. This service line that they hit, we have a picture of it. I also have a video, it was pouring out water, and by the time, they tried to fix it and then contacted us, and then we sent our guys out and then fixed it. We don't have an exact gallonage of that was lost, but it was a lot of water, and so we believe that is the source of the loss this month.
How big of a line was that?
It's a service line, so it might be 2 inches, but don't quote me on that, it's gonna be.
So a 2-inch line would have to run how long to get us up to that high? I mean, that's a lot of water to jump up to 19%.
Yes, I can send the videos to you guys individually if you like, but you can see the water is gushing out, and we did our best to fix it at, as fast as we could. And obviously there was a few other breaks from them that month as well, so I just think with the compilation of that is why we see it so high. However, since it's 45 days in the rear, I've kind of ran a report for the past 30 days, and it's only at negative 13%. So
Negative 13%?
yes, so it's kind of back where we have been the past couple months.
The change, percent change, right?
Okay.
Percent change. is
Yeah, it
negative.
went from negative 19 to negative 13.
Okay, gotcha.
Can I ask a quick
Sure.
question? So
Director Johnson?
AT&T's reimbursing for a number of things. Is this one of the things that they can reimburse us for?
Absolutely, yeah.
If that hasn't already been contemplated, then let's.
You're pursuing this just like the others?
Well, so I'm pursuing the charges to reimburse you guys, but
Yeah.
we have not discussed about reimbursing for water loss.
Right.
Just because sometimes it is hard to,
Difficult to calculate.
calculate how much we really lost.
Sure. I mean, absolutely, I totally understand that, but maybe estimate something on the conservative side even.
I mean, it's a
At least
math
like a
problem,
chart.
right? You have a certain size
Yes, we have a formula.
pipe, an amount of time on the video that shows the water leaking, so you
Yes.
can estimate how many gallons, so I think we can do that math.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I can do that formula and get that amount for you if that was something that you guys would like to pursue. And then I would have to, put it on some form of letterhead and then pursue with the OK Tex company for water that was lost.
I
So-
don't have any issues trying to
I'm
ask
happy to put that on my
AT&T for it.
list.
Yeah, so Lisa just mentioned she thinks it's an 8-inch line.
I know it is an 8-inch line, I just looked up on our GSI.
So that's
asset
pretty
management.
big.
Yeah, that's a big line.
Okay, so make sure when you do the math that you calculate an 8-inch
Yeah.
line in the amount of time that we know that it was flowing.
Yes, and I can do with Lisa too on that, just the verify. And that address was 1201 Dillon Lake, so
Okay.
that was,
Yeah.
we have records of it, we have all the documentation, so we'll just have to go back and then,
And you also have to
Calculate it.
consider, at the ground storage tank, I mean, with the pressure that we have with that hydro tank, even if, we're running on a low end, in the past, we've actually been able to, accumulate roughly anywhere from 75 PSI, which is a vast amount of pressure, like I said, with that ground storage tank to be able to push, so even though it's on what we call the backside of the district, that's a lot of pressure.
Sure.
So, hypothetically, you would see a vast amount of water.
Okay, Director Johnson, anything else?
No, that was.
Okay, Director Young?
No, I think everybody's in agreement, we need to try and recoup those
Yeah,
expenses.
absolutely. Director Shoemaker?
Yeah, same.
Roberts?
I'm fine. I
Okay.
was just wondering, Do y'all have the ability to do the calculations, or is that something that David Gray's firm could do?
No, we actually have.
No, yeah, we have, there's a
100%.
calculation that.
They should be able to.
That's
Okay, I'm just-
water
that's a good
operation 101.
Okay, so we are directing you to do that calculation, prepare it, share with us, and then let's go after, make sure that we can
Yeah.
try to get reimbursed for that. And same thing going forward, if we see a big spike, if we know there's big breakage, I mean, like Director Young said earlier, they're just starting in our neighborhood, so there's probably gonna
Yeah.
be more, breakage, okay.
That's right.
What
And
else do we have?
that leads me into our next segment of the backlogs that have been paid, just to clear the air. 2 out of the 3 checks have been paid. 1 check was for $2,396. The second check that was reimbursed and Tyler has received it was for $14,598. And this last check, which is the third check that we've sent out, this one is for $19,309, and that one has not been received. And I have been on their butt about getting it, and it's almost 30 days past, so I'm, with board's decision, we can tag on a late fee to maybe, after the 30 days, or we can tag on a late fee 60 days if we want to try to put a fire under their butt.
Do we have to have a policy there? I mean, we have to have something that says it, right? You can't just willy-nilly say that.
I agree.
Okay, keep after them, and if by the next meeting we don't have something, we'll do something. Yes, Director Roberts?
So are these the same contractors, or are these different?
No, this is the same, the OK Tex company that, we are back charging all 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Curious.
Great,
Thank you.
okay, what else?
And then next would be, what happened yesterday. I sent out an email to all board
Thank you.
members. If you have any concerns or, comments, please let me know. It was pretty self-explanatory and, everything is running smoothly like it should.
So you've reached out to TCEQ, you've done all the paperwork, were they out today?
I called our regulatory guy and they did not come out today, but I guess they're on their schedule, but I did follow up and see when they were gonna come out, but he did not get an answer.
Okay,
But they are notified, they have the submission, and it's just on their clock whenever they.
okay, so Lisa went out there, just so you all know, and counted about 14 dead fish, now there's probably more going down the lake, or down the creek. I asked Ben, can we just go ahead and clean those up, because they're getting pretty stinky, but you can't. Actually, TCEQ needs to come out and obviously test them, or, do whatever they need to do, so. I talked to Sean about it a little bit yesterday, and Lisa, I mean, maybe we just hold right now and wait for TCEQ to come out, part of me is like, do we communicate with the residents and let them know what happened and why there's all these dead fish, but Sean's advice to me was to go ahead and hold and wait till TCEQ comes out, and then if we have to legally report something, we definitely can. Obviously, residents are watching this, can hear this and understand, that we've taken appropriate steps. There was a failure, you guys fixed it right away, and you did all the proper things, and unfortunately, the chlorine went into the creek and killed, a dozen or more fish. It's unfortunate, very.
So we've had this happen more than once, and so I was wondering, is there any preventative measure or in any way for us to kind of be more like aware that these may fail? Or is there a way to collect that water before it goes directly into the creek and kind of filter it out of the chlorine? I mean, is there a way to hold it and let it, evaporate and then let it be released?
So I was talking to our guys today, the best solution currently would just to be upping the amount of times per year that we do preventative maintenance and just oversight on it. Right now, it's just once a year, but we can up it to twice a year or more with your directors, just to make sure this doesn't happen again. There was, the second option would be to add some sort of dechlorinator at the end of the discharge pipe to make sure so much chlorine isn't. But I was told that that's a very pricey addition, adding on that to the tank. That's got to be custom fitted, and there's a special company that does it, so it's not as easy as it sounds, but it is an option, but I don't have all the details for you at this moment.
So the resident that reported it to me was concerned about the turtles as well. I mean, did we notice any turtles that have
The only thing that was affected by the turtles is the fact that they got dead fish for free, and so they were actually.
Benefited.
They were eating the fish yesterday, so they benefited from the dead fish, so they weren't affected in a negative way.
The fish died because they're underwater and they couldn't.
Right, and the fish aren't dying because, and TCEQ will restate this, but they're not dying because of the chlorination, they died because of lack of oxygen, because of the quick initiation of the chlorination that was hit in the water, and they were probably ponding around that area, you don't have enough feed line in order to be able to dissipate that chlorine in enough time
Like
to
you
be
do with
able
the
for it to, like the way that you have with this triple channel. So again, as Ben mentioned, if you go and put a screen on it, it's a 12-inch line, that's a hefty price. And then you have a lot of volume, again, a lot of pressure, so you can install it at the chlorinator, could definitely pop off and you're back to right where you were.
I
at
saw the
beginning.
video and it was just a huge
So
amount of
maybe it
water.
would be nice to do more preventive maintenance.
So, and I think, to your point, Director Roberts, is that with the Spyglass, our new management database, that we will be able to see when we replace these valves in the past and when, and yes, they go out there and look at them, but we can see, hey, this has been 5 years, we need, really pay attention to this one or something, so maybe that will help.
So if I may, building on what Director Roberts said, if we could get the prices for the preventative maintenance, I don't know, maybe it's the same price times two. And then also the dechlorinator, I realize it's pricey and I realize it could fail too, but I just don't wanna not consider it. So if you could get us those.
Yeah, we bring that next month.
I'm also interested, preventive maintenance may not have even caught this, right? Sometimes things just break all of a sudden. I would like to find out a little bit more before we start doing, quarterly preventive maintenances. I'd like to know that that's likely to prevent it or not. So if we could get a better understanding, maybe a few photos, small presentation on what happened, that will give us all a better understanding of how to best proceed moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make sure we get everyone the video, because I don't know if everyone's seen, it's like a 3-second video, but it does show you. And there are cameras out there, so it happened like at 6:40, and you guys were out there by 7:30 or so. So it's a pretty quick response, but
Yeah, so help us better understand what to do.
I can also just send out an email too with the parts that were mechanically malfunctioned on the tank and just kind of give you a summary. That way, we don't have, if you would like the presentation or something along those lines, I would need to bring in one of our operations guys to kind of go more in depth.
I think that'd be great, like just a few slides, what happened, why preventive maintenance would have helped this, or why it wouldn't have, maybe the parts, the response time, add all that stuff in there. I think that'd be a great thing for us to make educated decisions on moving forward. Is that?
Yeah, no, I think that's reasonable, and were those parts under warranty still? When was the last time we replaced that valve? Those are things that we kind of need to know.
Yeah.
Because if it failed, because of age, we understand that if it failed because something was wrong, it's under warranty, we need to know that as well.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Are you directing me for the next meeting to have our guys come in with a present, or just kind of a summary of what happened and
What would you guys like?
A few slides.
I think a little something to share, 'cause residents will wanna care about this,
Yeah.
we know of it, I think it'd be good to have something that can be presented where we can have it available, materials residents can see either online or posted later.
If a resident were to ask me tomorrow what happened, I wouldn't be able to properly explain it to them. So
Okay.
if you can just spend a moment, like no longer than 15 minutes, no more than like five slides or so,
Okay,
right?
just make a
Just like
slideshow.
what happened, a little slideshow, this is what happened. And then advocate for quarterly, semi-annual, or even annual preventive maintenance. Give us a recommendation on what to do.
Yeah, we currently have annual, so, okay. All right, you've been directed. What else? Write-offs, anything?
Just, no write-offs, and then that is all for me tonight. I believe, Sean was gonna talk about the LCRA, but we can just wait till that item.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ben. Appreciate the information. Number 20, fence removal and replacement, Molson Lake, Mojave Bend, Copper Leaf. We have a proposal, Sagamore fence, estimate number 2619.
7619.
Yeah, thank you.
And 2216. Amounts for each are 26,122 for Sagamore, 512 outdoor is 22,950. Your fence replacement scope is actually at the beginning, so that way you're able to see what we're looking for. We did solicit 3 bids. Ostech didn't have time to actually submit one, so we did provide the 2 that were available to you all.
Okay, so do you recommend A and B?
I recommend A.
A, okay. Do I have a motion to approve, estimate 7619 in the amount of $26,000?
A motion for discussion.
Second?
Second?
Okay, discussion, I'll start with you, Johnson.
Lisa, can you help us understand, so it's the same scope of work, right?
Same scope.
So the difference between the 26 and the 24, 25, 20,
22,000.
22.
22,000.
23, sorry, yeah.
The difference is really just gonna be the contractor themselves,
Okay.
really in the way that they perform the work.
They've been the ones that have done all the work so far,
Second, right.
and they've done a high quality amount. Okay, and this includes staining, correct?
No, the same thing
Oh,
we
does it?
actually have
Okay.
on, item 21,
Okay,
stating is gonna come in at
Okay.
5,870.
okay, I'm gonna go around the room. Director Young, any comments?
No comments?
Director Shoemaker?
I'll be honest, like, I don't cost it more, but I guess I've been very pleased with seeing the work Sagamore has done, right? I don't like spending extra money, but at the same time, like, given how long it needs to last, I'm hesitant to, at this point, given how little difference there is relatively, to try a new vendor.
Okay, Director Roberts?
Yeah, I was just thinking that's quite a bit of difference, $4,000, and maybe we should give this new vendor a chance.
I would definitely still go with Sagamore fencing, it's
Okay.
all about having things aesthetically the same.
All right, let's go ahead and, put it to a vote. All in favor of A, estimate 7619 for $26,000? Aye.
Aye.
No,
Which is for Sagamore.
Correct.
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay, let's move on to the staining, number 21. Estimate 2643, she said it's $5,000 for the staining of the places that we just approved. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion?
Do I have a second?
Sorry.
Yes.
One of the Davids seconded.
He seconded.
Good one. Any discussion, Johnson?
No.
Young?
I've seen the staining, it's looking really nice.
I'm gonna,
Okay, yeah.
reiterate that, and Lisa even said, hey, have you seen this staining? And I had driven down Creek Run a couple times, I'm like, no, I didn't. So then I drove down there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't notice because it completely didn't stand out, which was my fear, right?
And now the standout is the water sprinklers.
Right, but it
Yeah.
looks really good, so I think it's fantastic.
And actually, that was the question, the thing I wanted to raise on this is, it's on this, maybe discussion, raising an issue for your board discussion, but, for fence panels that are in largely better shape, they're not like in need of immediate repair, but due to Director Young's point, have a lot of water damage, right, where the wood's still solid. Could we maybe ask for Sagamore to maybe give us an estimate for maybe staining a few of those, like, kind of a, depending upon the pricing, maybe for the pieces that are in more solid shape, maybe a way to help keep them there until we're ready to replace them?
So that is on, my agenda, if you will, for, future discussion.
Okay.
The
that's
best
good
time
know.
to stain is gonna be during your winter months. So we're getting into a hotter season. This item right here is gonna be the last item that we would be staining, but come October again, I'd like to present that to you all and tackle some of that to be able to, like I said, cover the fencing that doesn't necessarily need to be replaced.
Okay, 'cause yeah, maybe the stain doesn't help, but I feel like having some kind of coverage on the wood
Sure.
where there's water, right?
Oh,
Will
sure.
help keep the pieces that are still solid but
Yeah.
weren't worn out another year.
Yeah.
Okay, Director Roberts?
yeah, I concur with Director Shoemaker, because I think when I drove it, it was real obvious, the new, and then the old just stood out. So it was, to me, it was we need some continuity. And so I was wondering, I'd get the advice of the stainer and see if maybe we can go ahead and put it on agenda for next month.
I did.
And, because they were very fast at what they did, so it's not like a forever month project, it could be done probably very quickly, at least to make some uniform, it just doesn't look uniform right now.
Okay, go ahead and, Director, bring back the prices next month and see, like, what is the temperature that they really want us to cut off? Is it 100? Is it, because, gosh, it's been like,
It would
It's
look so
surprisingly
nice,
it's been
it would
really
look so nice,
cooler.
and everything just looks so fresh along with the rest of it.
Well, and I think like I said, because we're replacing in phases, right? Anything we do to preserve the fence that's still solid will be a big help.
Okay.
Obviously not sections we're about to replace.
Of course.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly,
yeah, sections.
exactly. We're not gonna stay in the entire loop, is what we're saying.
Knowing the temperature cutoffs has helped, we can let residents know too, like, if they ask, why are you staining my fence?
Mhm.
Well, sorry, temperatures are above, 80 or 90 or whatever, for more than so many days, can't touch it,
Okay,
So I as well noticed that the fence looked good on my drive in.
Thank you.
In addition to that, Lisa and I also chatted briefly about, we talked last month about the dedicated funds that are out there and probably coming back, budgeting for that in the next budgetary cycle, and then probably taking down one larger portion after we do that with those funds.
okay, good. All right, all in favor of number 21, estimate 2643 for the staining?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we already covered 22, 23, TDS, it's in the packet. 24, stormwater management. Only thing I'll say is that Ben I think it's left the building. I know you haven't, sorry. Is working TCEQ with the issue that we had. So I don't think we have anything on that.
I have one thing there, for MS Four stuff, Kathy Mitchell did, reach out, she does her annual education thing, and I think that'll be coming up soon.
Okay.
And I did see the Crossroads send something out on Thornbury, so thank you, because that, checks another box off, and hopefully residents read it. Can't force them, but hopefully they did. Report from Services Subcommittee.
We didn't meet, I mean, I know you've got some stuff on work. My wife was sick last week and they were shorthanded at my day job, so we're working to meet.
Okay.
I mean, but it's been a little bit difficult this
Remember,
month.
we can always use, the alternate also.
Yeah.
Okay, number two.
Just really quick, I haven't seen any communications on the road resurfacing. I don't know if that's a services thing or.
No, that's completely Wilco. That has nothing to do with
Well, we have
us.
put out some social media communication
Yeah.
from
Okay,
Wilco.
social media,
That's on
okay.
this.
Wilco, I will say, as a resident who's gonna get hit first, right? They have come around twice, and if you get a green card saying they're coming soon, right? With a reform, and then you get the orange card saying they're coming within 2 to 5 days. So just really watching it. So Wilco has been out and around.
Yeah.
So I will say, I'm sticking up for them. If you haven't gotten a card yet, means they aren't gonna be coming to you yet.
Well, Director Johnson's street.
It makes my yard.
You would be happy if they paved your yard.
Right?
No more watering for
That's just
you.
much restrictive covenant.
Yeah. Twisted this around.
Yes, they did our street.
I'm a little curious about when we're gonna see the new tar, when it's gonna smell like tar and when.
It's not really tar, but
Doesn't smell.
it doesn't smell, like I just said, Director Johnson's street is done, so you can drive by there.
My
There's-
streets are done, tell them.
Are they?
And
Okay.
it should be soon over off Black Kettle, right?
Okay.
So actually, if you, like, where he is, the next few years, they should be up off Black Kettle and Spotty, if you ever come across Creek Run. you can
And they've
see
been very diligent about coming over it, and they
They sweep it.
vacuum it
They're
up.
sweeping a lot. They're pre-sweeping too, like, if you notice the street sweeper come by, they were sweeping twice before, even
Okay.
trying to lay it down.
All right, let's move on if we can. General Manager's report.
Reports in the packet, if you guys have any questions?
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to legal.
Under the directives, everything is either done or in process at this point. Under 28 Bond App, we did everything that we needed to do there. Item number 29, I have a paper if you guys want to see it. I mentioned at our last meeting that PDC had reached out for some additional easements or consideration of additional easement. I also mentioned that, as you may recall, some of you might recall, 4 years ago, I think, when we did the easements with PEC, I have a colleague who has also represented PEC in the past. It's not an active engagement, but it doesn't prevent a conflict. Last time around, both parties, PEC and the district, executed a consent to representation. I think I mentioned this last month. I have one drafted for you. I haven't sent it over to PEC yet because I wanted to come with you guys first. They did indicate that they are open to considering such a consent to representation. I have it here if anyone would like to review
So
it.
are we ready to vote on it or no?
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion to the consent to representation for request for a temporary access
Motion.
easement? Okay, second.
Second.
Any more discussion?
David. has
Just
some-
so you know, you're not approving the easement.
Right,
Yeah.
Approving
Yes.
him to represent
to
you.
work on it.
And I'm already representing you,
Okay,
and I don't have a conflict.
that's all I need to know. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, number 30, order establishing revised water conservation drought contingency plan. Thank you. Second,
Second.
any discussion?
Just one quick question, this plan's a good plan, but, in a related point, we asked, we're looking for the rate study, is this?
Yeah, I can offer you an update there as well.
Okay, thank you, we can do it after we vote, but just.
Sure.
Flag that for residents who are watching.
I'll handle that one
right?
quickly, because I have a
Okay.
quick update.
All in favor?
Oh, can I,
Yeah,
can we
oh,
hold
yeah,
that
go
for a
ahead.
second?
Yeah.
So, on the rate study, we met with, NewGen earlier today. They made a bunch of document requests, we're in the process of getting that. I have advised them that it would be great if we could have their report, for the May meeting, so that's kind of their working goal.
Okay, excellent.
If it looks like that'll be ready to go, I'll have both their report and the rate order, plugged in for the May meeting.
Do you have any updates from LCRA on how, I've heard not good things about the rain forecast for summer and fall, like David.
Like you got ESP, you're reading my mind right now. So,
Okay.
that's what I want to talk about in the context of your DCP. So we are, several districts I represent that buy raw water directly from the LCRA are having to undertake revisions to their DCP to accommodate several things with regards to stages, water restrictions, and also curtailment. So we have been doing that as a matter of course in several districts. I look back, Ben has been in touch with the city of Cedar Park. We haven't heard anything from them about the necessity of updating our DCP in any way, our being Walkhouse. I reviewed the city of Cedar Park's DCP, and as far as I can tell, I'm not an expert on DCPs, but I've looked at them a lot here recently with regards to the LCRA considerations. It appears that the city of Cedar Park was actually out in front of adopting some of the things that the LCRA has now made mandatory. That's my take from looking at it. And so as it pertains to specifically stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, when they kick in, the sort of water restrictions that go along with that, it appears that we don't have to make any changes to conform to what the LCRA is now requiring of all its raw water customers.
Because we already did.
Because the city of Cedar Park already did it,
Right.
and because they're kind of a pass-through here, so yours is already aligned there. Now, as an aside, the one thing that I didn't notice in your DCP or in the city of Cedar Parks is a required mandatory irrigation of only twice a week. It might be in there, I might have missed it.
It is.
It is in there,
I think so.
all the time, constant?
I think so.
Okay.
That's the new standard from LCRA.
Well, that's the new LCRA standard. I'm not sure it's filtered through the Cedar Park and ours
Well,
yet, so.
I think, I would correct myself, I'm not sure if it's Cedar Park,
Yeah.
but it will be because they have to change theirs to LCRA.
So, right,
which
they're
is-
on, and they may be on the clock as well, and by the way, the deadline is 1st of May. So what I would request that we do today, if you guys are comfortable with it, we reviewed, everything else looks good in your DCP. By the way, the reason we are reviewing this is that the TCQ requires you to review your DCP every 5 years, and so we just happen to be on the clock for that. This was gonna be in front of you anyway, but I might request that you approve this subject to final confirmation as to whether or not we need to insert a provision that would say you are limited to twice a week watering all the time. And that is a new LCRA standard. We adopted that in my other districts that are raw water customers at LCRA. I think we did that late last year.
So the watering would never go above twice a week.
But it could go down, because we're.
Right, right.
Okay,
But it
okay,
could.
okay,
Yeah,
But essentially, no matter how much rain we get,
yeah.
unless
That's
LCRA
right.
would change the
That's
rules
right.
back,
That's right.
yeah.
the lake fills up all the way to 110%.
Well, then you don't have to water twice a week, because you got
Well,
rain.
fair enough, but
Yeah,
Well, and to
Then
be
it stops
honest,
raining.
I would expect that. I think David and I are aligned there. We haven't talked about this, but you know, Cedar Park is purchasing from LCRA, you're purchasing from Cedar Park, and the way it typically works is that you've got to be just as conservative
Right.
as the place either selling you
Yeah, of
water or the place from them. So I would expect we probably need to integrate that. LCRA has draft language, template language that we use, and it's pretty basic, so. It's not in the current draft, but I would anticipate we'll have to.
David, do you have a comment on
They have a
this?
raw water customer meeting next Tuesday or Wednesday at
Yeah.
LCRA.
And we are sending our freshest
Yes.
associate attorney out to attend that,
Perfect.
so if,
We'll get the notice.
got the short straw, huh?
if we glean any additional information, happy to pass that along as well.
Okay, so can I go ahead and call for a vote now? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, number 31, proposal from Cawthorn Security.
I'm sorry, can I talk about one more thing? I know.
Is this on the water or
This
not?
is, yeah, and so I mentioned briefly curtailment, and I also am not aware of how City of Cedar Park is gonna deal with that. So LCRA is requiring that all of its raw water customers, and I mean all of them, not just the municipal users, but pretty much everything except for a couple agricultural and one downstream user, to provide detail on potential 20% curtailment if we drop below 600,000 acre feet combined between Buchanan and Lake Travis. And so I believe, and David, or I want to listen to anybody else's opinion, if we get down to stage 4 mandatory, there's gonna be no irrigation anyway, and that's probably how we get there to the curtailment. But the LCRA mandated curtailment is 20% of all use. And so raw water customers are getting notifications right now of a model year and then a 20% curtailment based on that. And then there are fines if you don't hit that later, potentially. LCRA has come out publicly and said they're not really interested in the fines, what they want to see is the water conservation.
Sure.
Again, I don't think that's contemplated here. I don't know that we're gonna need to update our DCP to be cognizant of that, because the curtailment plan is executed outside the context of the DCP.
Just need to be aware what Cedar Park agrees to.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, All right, good information.
And so Sean, just very, since you mentioned like if the curtailment does occur, they're expecting, in a service like us in Cedar Park, they expect most of that 20% would come from just all prohibitional irrigation, to
Yeah.
include the district, right? We would not be able to irrigate, residents would not be able to irrigate, but I guess there's no other contemplated actions they would look at for potentially meeting those targets at this time.
And to be sure,
That they're aware of.
that 600,000 number, there is a nexus between that and stage 4 drought restrictions. And once you get to stage 4, you can't water anyway. And so it's at least my thought, I can't speak for the LCRA, but when you cut off all irrigation, that probably helps you get at that 20% curtailment premium.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay.
They're also incorporating another parameter besides the total storage, and that is the inflow coming into the Highland Lakes, which is a new parameter they've never modeled before. That is an attempt to get ahead of the lake levels, because inflow is upstream of the lake levels, and it's gonna influence, and that is going to have an additional effect on triggering these restrictions, I'll call them, earlier than perhaps just the lake storage level itself.
Okay, thank you.
From the interstate
That's all
side.
good information, thank you. Sorry I was rushing you, Mr. Abbott.
No. One more.
And you're pushing the envelope tonight, aren't you?
Just haven't been able to talk. have you?
Everybody just needs to enjoy the green grass while it's here.
Okay, let's move on. 31, Cawthorn Security Proposal. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second,
Second,
any discussion?
question,
Director Johnson.
so I see the readers, forgive me if I'm missing it, this E ENHD4 D30-1, $23.55, what's that?
The last item on there, that's
Yeah.
$22.99 at 55 each, or
That's gonna be for additional card readers for Brevo system.
Yeah, so this is a Brevo specific. You might recall, last month, the month before, we did the Cawthorn's contract that was gonna cover Eagle Eye and security system considerations. We need to, and this is the last part of that would be Brevo, and that would be all the security considerations. They just issued a separate proposal for this one.
Because they were missing the Brevo system.
Okay, what are there 55 of?
and yeah, at
That's
least,
just the point I'm not understanding, I'm sorry, if I missed something obvious. There, like,
Card readers?
there's 6, excuse me, I'm not counting right. There's 12 readers,
Mhm.
and then there's 55 of something.
Well, I don't genuinely know what the 55 is for. All
Okay,
I know
I'm
is
curious.
that the way that it actually totals up to is the actual amount that we're currently being billed for Trinity by Trinity AV. So it actually is encompassed with it. It might very well be the actual key fob card reader itself, and that's the cost of it at $22.99 for 55 of them
Okay.
per box.
So could we have two motions. Can we approve it contingent on you getting an answer to clarify that, and then you can send it out to the directors?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And if there's anything huge, you guys can reach out to the GM, to
Yes.
Sean, and we can.
I'll send
Okay.
questions out tomorrow.
Okay, any other discussion? Young?
No problem.
Shoemaker?
no comment.
Robert?
Is this comparison to Trinity, what they're?
Yeah, she said it was just the exact same
Is that what I
amount.
just heard?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I'm fine. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, subcommittee policies, I think we can just go ahead and remove this. There's just some things going back and forth, and there were some good things about it and not some. So let's remove that from the thing. I don't think we have anything on code of conduct. Subcommittees itself, we are about 6 months out before the election. I want you guys to think about if there's any subcommittees you wanna move around on, that, if you wanna make some changes. And I'm just saying this too right now, so I don't know if anybody wants to do it right now, but let's, I want you to be prepared to come in May and, share with us if you wanna switch subcommittees.
Okay.
We can make that change in May.
I think we're 6 months away from a election where we may have a couple new, I think, maybe instead of doing it next month, maybe we wait until after the election.
Well, we can talk about that next month, yeah.
All right.
Okay, future board meetings, right now, it doesn't look like we need to have a special subcommittee meeting, special meeting. But if we do, Sean and the GM will reach out to you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Adjourn?
I mean, motion to adjourn?
Real quick, the 55, was the number of camera subscriptions that we have. So I think
Okay,
we
so
have 55.
55 cameras, okay,
It's
that would make a lot more
prescriptions.
sense.
So I think we're okay with, I'm sorry, subscription. So I'm sorry, back to the, close it up.
Okay, I'll confirm that was.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, thank
All
you
in
guys.
favor?